Thank you for joining Coffee and Convo with RE and Chosen with special guest Frederick Sparkman. Today's topic is unintentional deception.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Hey y'all, what goes on H-Time?
What goes
We are
around?
in here. We are in here. I hope y'all
Yeah,
got
but
your
I'm in.
coffee ready. This week we gonna get them comments. We
We're on
apologize.
it. We're on it. We're on it this week.
We apologize last week
And
really.
the last week. The
Last
last
week.
week.
So y'all please be sure to come in, comment. We are listening. And yeah, we gonna talk about it.
Okay, so we were discussing how not social construct, personal views, friendships, relationships, even on the job. How do we put this?
No, see,
We
you're
are.
going back into deception
It's
or intended deception, but we're talking about unintentional
Unintentional
deceptions
deception.
where you may
uh-huh.
deceive yourself, lie to yourself, or say something to someone in such a way that they get the
Same
wrong
thing.
idea about your situation or circumstance.
Words
or
used.
even or even thine self.
Yeah, that's the one I really want to touch on. Personalized,
Hmm.
the personal deception. Um, and I was stating how after being hurt, divorces, breakups, whatever you want to call it, how we put ourselves in a position to say, oh, we're just not going to do this again.
Hmm.
We're just not going to do this again. I don't believe in this covenant. It's, what is it? Painful, which brings the fear, and which brings lies to ourselves as such as I could live the rest of my life without anyone.
Hmm.
But at the
That's a lie.
same
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you
no, but
off.
see, it's unintentional deception.
Unintentional deception.
Okay, because we convince ourselves that we can make it the rest of the life without that one thing we desire, which is to be happily joined with someone,
Well,
preferably that soulmate.
happiness in and of itself is a deception because there's
Oh,
no such
explain.
thing as being happy for a prolonged period of time. I mean,
Well, you
I'm still going to write a book on that's called a happiness deception. We're supposed to pursue being content. Now, when
Balance.
you plug in
balance,
a car, you're happy.
balance.
You get married, you're happy. When you have a child, you're happy. When
So
this
you're saying
happens,
happiness occurs during life events, happy life
exactly.
events.
But it's not
Okay,
something that can be
it's not going to
prolonged.
be continuous.
No, it can't be. If you think it can be, you are deceived, and that's why so many
Deceiving.
people are
Unintentional deception.
correct.
Okay.
And that's why so many people are unhappy
Y'all
because
remember how? Okay. Yeah. Y'all remember how when you was little? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like whenever you was little, and you were like, oh, it'd be cool if everything was always happy or everything was always good, but you didn't really know um the other side of that. It's just the
But see,
fact that
we
we
do
just
that
like
to
to
our
feel.
children. We do
Yes,
that
we
to our
do.
children. Parents do
uh,
that.
It's called
I'm
yeah.
sorry, y'all got a mouth in y'all pocket. I don't do that.
Your kid's grown.
I be telling them like it is. Slam, slam, truth.
And that's what I do with Tay. But the reason why I made that decision with her is because I remember being a kid. I remember what I went through. And then when the reality hit, when you start asking for things and wanting things, and they tell you, they start telling you the truth then. Money don't grow on trees. I don't have
Yep,
that,
yep.
and then that all famous when they tell you as a kid with all the Christmas thing. Oh,
Yep, I was gonna bring up Satan Claus.
the Christmas thing.
Satan. He said he was gonna bring up Krampus.
Krampus, Satan Claus, whichever one you want to call them.
But that would go under intentional deception.
Not necessarily true.
Explain.
Because you're just propagating the same thing because you think it makes children happy to believe in made up social construct. Where in reality, what you're telling your child is to believe in something that's not true. to deviate from reality even though you know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's unintentional.
Because you're
But that's
thinking
what
that
you
you're shielding, because
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking that you're shielding them from something, want to protect their innocence that you know that the world is
Oh, no,
soon
no.
to strip away.
I told Tatum the truth.
Mm.
Baby, mama and daddy pay for this stuff. And we don't have
There is
no
no
children.
such thing as Saint Nikolai. Saint Nikolai.
Okay.
Well,
So
see, that's
let's
the book of Revelations where you have the ways of the Nicolaitans.
hmm.
Uh-oh, somebody got a hefty notification.
Share.
That was
No. Oh,
some crap about 2 messages.
That's cool.
okay. So the back to the unintentional deceptions.
Hmm. Okay, like I was saying before, you got the Nicolaitans and everything. These practices that these people do, that particular deception is intentional, but
Mm-hmm.
us propagating that deception is unintentional. See, because we're
Mm,
just passing on something that we heard. It's a tradition. It's
it's
something
a
we do. It's
tradition.
harmless. It's harmless. It ain't gonna hurt nobody, but it always does. People are most miserable during the holidays.
That is true. Statistics does say that.
Mhm.
But
Because
but
Yeah.
I'm not getting the la la land that I was promised.
Mhm.
that's when we get older. When we get older.
Hey, did you send the link to share the live?
I did. I think I did.
I don't know why I didn't get the live. I didn't get the live link to share the live.
Now, for Frederick, I want you to touch on the personal unintentional deceptions. Um,
Oh, that's easy. I mean, the first thing is when people say, yeah, man, I want the truth. I want the truth. And then you try to show it to them, they run the other way. They don't
that
Hmm.
want
that's
the
when
truth.
I've gotten scared. Remember,
They
I
don't want the
told you,
truth.
when people say that and because of what they hear, they don't know whether to take it and run or freeze and hide. Most will freeze. Well, some will freeze and hide out of fear of the unknown, fear of what's expected, not knowing what's expected. What's going to be on that other side of that journey.
Well, that's true, but the way I see it is, when was the last time you found out the truth and it made you happy?
Truth hurts.
Exactly. And
Truth
it
hurts.
wounds well. But the thing is when you first find out that you've been deceived, you're angry, you're upset, you want to go hit something, do something to somebody, and then you feel powerless. Because the truth in and of itself shows you how much power you really have. And people don't want that. They want to pretend that they're in control of their own lives, which they're not. There's so many things that are orchestrated against you. It's impossible for you to be in control of your own life. If you're so in control of your own life, go walk out in traffic.
Mm.
Let's see how much control you can exert when that semi is coming at you.
That's how CeeLo Green said in that song, "You crazy," and he was like, he said, "You really think you in control? Ha ha ha! Bless your soul."
Rochelle is in chat. She said, remember Jack Nicholson's role? And I cannot remember the name of this movie. It was oh
The
my
Shining.
goodness, Rochelle. No, where he
No.
yelled, "You can't handle the truth."
A few good men.
Ah, a few good
And
men.
that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. She brought that up. And that I can really agree with that. People can't handle the truth. They would rather be fed a
Rather be
lie.
Now,
told a
that's
lie.
a serious self-deception. A few good men, ha! Find one.
Oh boy.
Yeah, whatever. We're the best.
He
Oh
said,
yeah, we can
find
do it.
one.
And then you believe that because I was in the military. We're the best in the world. Really? Have we checked the whole world, or did we just check our people?
Mm-mm-mm.
Now, see, the things we're bringing, that I say
No,
that's intentional.
no, that's unintentional because you
Unintentional.
really believe it. It may not be true, but you believe it. You're deceiving yourself. That's unintentional because you're not thinking about the actual truth. You're not looking deeper than what you've been told.
Surface.
Most unintentional deception began with an intentional deception. Everything is geared to cause you to think in a certain way, which is an intentional deception is given to get you to have an unintentional deception, which is where you believe the hype.
I think I'm gonna let you run this one. Go ahead. You have anything to add, Joe? I kind of understand what
you
he
know,
said.
I'm listening. I'm just gathering right now. You know, I'm gathering because I don't disagree with nothing what he's saying. I don't disagree with that at all.
I mean, if you really think about the whole thing, every deception that we get is so that we can propagate that deception, which we do unintentionally because we think we spit in truth, but we're not spitting truth. We're spitting lies to ourselves. We're spitting lies to other people. It's all unintentional on our part, but it was intentional on someone else's. But for us
Mm-hmm.
to take something in and not do the research and not look it up for ourselves, then we're just asking to be victims. We're
Have you heard
asking
about
for deception.
them educated fools? The
Yep.
ones that think that they,
Oh,
oh,
you
you
mean
think you
those
know this?
indoctrination campuses they call
Indoctrination
school?
campus. Man,
Now y'all
boy, I
know
tell you.
how we're told education is very vital to the growth of our economy and personal
But that's
education.
true.
That is true, but
But
it
we're not
depends.
receiving education. They're getting indoctrinated.
I'm
So
not. I'm not.
education,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I was going to say the true education come from the one thing we really don't sit back and study.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
true. But the
True.
thing is, if you're believing, you walk out into the world self-deceived because you think you've been educated, where in fact you've been indoctrinated. So how can
Mm.
you not move forward in unintentional deception where you've been trained to think a certain way? That's not the way that you actually think. It clashes with you. It makes you miserable. It distorts your emotions. It distorts your perception. And it causes you to believe that you cannot achieve, you can't do this, you can't do that. All of those things are deceptions or unintentional deceptions that you put upon yourself based on an intentional deception that was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I
I'm
don't think I'm gonna get a word in on this one.
I'm still not getting the thing, the link to share the live.
Did you refresh?
So let's see. Yeah, I refreshed off of Facebook. It came in because I'm looking for it in the notifications and it's not coming up.
Y'all.
Well, I'm sorry. You kind of broke up there. Can you repeat that?
I say that's why I leave that stuff to y'all because I be clicked off the whole show.
Oh no, we don't want
Remember
we
what
don't
happened
want
last time?
yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so let's address the okay. You said we're we're unintentionally deceiving ourselves. Now, I also heard in there I don't want to say goal and accomplishments, but the measures that we set for ourselves, if they're not met based on someone else's idea of what it takes for me to move ahead, that rejected feeling kick in, and then you start seeing and feeling as though, like you said, you won't make it. You're not going to receive. That is, you're saying an unintentional deception based on an intentional deception from someone else.
Correct. With an
I want to make
intended consequence.
with an intended consequence, which would be to hold you back.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean,
Now, what about those?
okay, how about this? I say I don't need to read, but that's the only way I'm going to find the truth. So am I lying to myself or am I telling myself the truth? Now, every job that makes good money, you got to read all the time. Oh, I don't need to read. Okay, so who am I lying to?
Yeah, you lying to yourself if you don't need to read, especially if that's in the requirements
It's
to know
always in
how
the
to do the job. Like if that's the
requirements.
requirements to know how to do the job and that's the manual, then you are lying to yourself thinking that you already know how to do the job just because you got the job. You are supposed to you are supposed to want to be the best at everything that you do. So, and especially if you didn't create that job, that's they shit. So wouldn't you want to know everything about the position that you in? So you lying to yourself saying that you don't need to read because now I think you already said that before. You kind of stunting your growth. You're not,
Yeah.
yeah, you stunting your growth. You hindering yourself. I don't need to read. You don't know everything. So yeah, that go hand in hand. Exactly. That go hand in hand with that deception.
Unintentional deception. Okay.
In a way, to me, I think that's like, yeah, you could say that's unintentional because I think some in some way, form, or fashion that's also intentional too because you somewhere down the line you know that this is the manual to do this job. I don't
Hmm.
know if somewhere down the line you know you don't know everything, and there's some
True.
things in that manual that there's some things in that manual that's gonna tell you some ins and outs and the ins and outs of the machine or of the job. And if you just get into that manual like you know you're supposed to, then you'll have better understanding of that job and you'll be that much more effective. So yeah, I think those go hand in hand. Neither one of y'all are wrong. I just think that they go hand in hand. It's like me saying, man, shoot, I want to be the best me that I can be. And I look at myself every day, man, I could be more than I can be more than I am if I just did this. But then I lie to myself and say I don't need to do I don't need to get in there in that 15 minutes a day and do these push-ups, these sit-ups, and these crunches. Man, what is it gonna hurt? I'm lying to myself thinking that hey, it's just one day I'm just gonna wake up buff. I'm just
But
gonna wake up
yeah.
one day. I'm just gonna wake up on Super Saiyan God smoke God Super Saiyan, and I'm gonna be good. No, you lying to yourself. That right there is both of them, unintentional and intentional, because the intentional part is I know that I could be the best me that I can be, but I'm stifling myself, and I've done it. I ain't gonna lie, I'm guilty of that shit.
Unintentional and intentional deception.
Hmm.
But it
Okay.
says they actually go hand in hand. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
it's a
go
part
hand in
of it.
hand.
All
Like
right.
post.
So let's go ahead and draw that in now.
We probably gonna have to stretch this out a few more minutes, man, because the
I get it. That's why I said let's go ahead and pull that in there because if
mhm.
we end it there, we'll leave people up in the air, unanswered questions if there are any questions coming through. So let's go ahead and include the intentional deception. Ro, you chosen. You wanted to run with that.
The intentional.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay.
What'd you say? What did you say, Frederick?
Oh, why did you give him that so soon?
I think I'm gonna
He's
say,
been waiting. He's
you
been
know
waiting
what? I
for that
think
one.
we gonna harp on that. We gonna give, let's give them this, let's give them that medicine, man. That
Let's
medicine
give it
ain't,
to him.
that medicine it don't taste good going down, but eventually it feel good. But then, then we'll give them the sugar at the end. You know what I'm saying? The sugar at the end is gonna be the intentional shit, because that's where I really feel like we gonna do the most comic, comedic shenanigans there. But alongside of the unintentional deception, man, I think I mentioned this before. Like showing, trying to show people that you are who you're not just yet. You're not
Sure.
that person just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So like you say in the relationships, when we go to these relationships, these fabricated relationships, um, you want
Okay,
to
stop,
be.
because they're gonna want to understand fabricated relationships. They're gonna want to
I'm
understand
finna,
that.
but I'm finna explain it. Like with it, like the fabricated part is the one that you hear on the. Dang, I wish we had more people in here. I can't see who all in here,
Relationship
but
goals.
so so let's say they got these relationship goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this man wants to be what he needs to be for this woman. And he said, it'd be nice to be faithful. It'd be nice to be the one to say that I got it. And it'd be nice to be able to say this. But you got these other things that's tying you down. Like you want to be the dude that say, okay, I'm finna hand you this $100 just because you having a bad day, just to go and get and do what you want to do. But I work at Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what I'm saying? So you work at Chuck E. Cheese and say, yeah, I wanna be this faithful dude. Yeah, but you got too many, you got a harem and you ain't ready to let the harem go. Like you want to do all that stuff, but you're not willing to do you're not willing to take the necessary steps to do all those things. So yeah, you might find that one or find a couple of females that you talking to, you be like, yeah, man, I'll do this for you and this is I'm this. Yeah, at heart, you just might actually be that. But until you've dealt with all the stuff that's holding you back, and once again stunting your growth, you only fabricating a relationship. You selling somebody a dream, and that go for men and for women. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that the unintentional part, like Frederick said, you know, when you lying to yourself. To me, I have a perspective of that. That's the one thing I look at. That's the one thing you can't do. You can't lie to yourself. You can tell
Well,
yourself that with
You well.
sound, but to actually believe that shit,
Hmm.
you know, you know, hey, you know how I always told you before, and I sit up there like when you said like we play Gambit. Okay, one thing about me, I'm a gamer too, and my best friend Re, I just got her to play this game, so she knows what I'm gonna say. So when I sit up there and I say, hey man, we they halfway killing the prime evil, we ain't even got the prime evil up yet, and we talking
Hmm.
about we finna win this shit. You ain't even
No,
believe that. Like
I
you ain't
know.
even believe that. So you lied to yourself, and like deep down inside, you didn't even believe that. And so that's why I sit up and say, you know, you can't lie to yourself. You can speak that to yourself, but deep down inside, you know good and well you ain't finna. It's a good, nice try.
It's a
Almost had
nice
it there.
try. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
almost.
So
You gave it a good fight.
yeah, you gave it a good fight, but see, you know what? That also spills over into what I like to call the Facebook philosophers and the Instagram intellects. The ones that sit up there and tell you this is, you know, with all that you know that all that. I believe in speaking life into people. I believe in you know, like scriptures speaking to
Hmm.
those things that are not as though they were or
Hmm.
as though they are. You know, I believe in doing that because it's a spiritual thing. But you have to put the effort into that too. Once you put that out there, you gotta walk that. You gotta walk that.
Hmm.
And if you sit up there
that's
saying,
true.
"Okay, I'm
That's
gonna
true.
sit up here and do that," I'm gonna sit up here and do that shit. For instance, if I sit up and say, "Man, you know what? At the end of the year, I'm gonna have 5 hot singles underneath my belt. I'm gonna do this." But every day I wake up and I don't get on that beat machine. I don't sit up there like I just spoke something and it was just dead out. You know what I'm
It
saying? And
sounded
I come up
nice.
with it. It sounded nice. Almost had it there. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, you know, but the thing, you know, and so that was unintentional. But deep down inside, when I woke up that morning, something else derailed me. I said, man, I ain't finna do that. That was still like intentional. You let yourself down. So when you say that when you say that you lied to yourself, you say when people say, you know, you can't lie to yourself. I sit up and say, man, you ain't finna believe the lies. It's bad when you start believing the lies you tell yourself, and then
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
that's when it's really bad. So that's why I say in
Yeah.
conclusion, the one thing you can't do, and when I say can't, I'm not coming from the context of words saying that it's
Receive. You can't. You're
impossible.
not going to
Like it's
receive it.
impossible. Like saying like when I say, oh, I can't lift this, then like I'm not saying like I can't lift it because it's too heavy. It's like I'm just saying that I can't like as in I shouldn't. Like so the one thing you can't do is lie to yourself. Like you can't do that. Like you shouldn't do that. And then because the dangerous part of it comes when you really believe your own damn lie, and that's when it's really dangerous.
Now, wow. Now that was deep, and we're still talking about that unintentional,
Yeah,
intentional.
we still talk. We ain't finna get into the cherry and the hot fudge and the nuts on the sundae yet, man. When we get into that intentional shit, then that's when it's gonna be, you know, that's when it's gonna be a
Frederick,
whole different bottle of wax, man.
you have anything left to say on unintentional deception?
Well, I can give you what the word says: for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing to captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So we have an imaginary spiritual war that's out there, that's conducted in our heads, in our minds, in our hearts, in our perceptions. So what
Mm-hmm.
we're really doing is we're mixing up those things. Whereas there's a good imagination that you can have where you can say something to yourself, and it's a good thing because it's scripturally based where you're supposed to
So
say
it'll
these
be
things to
aligned,
yourself.
right?
Yeah.
It'll be aligned with the spirit.
Well, whereas you have that stuff that you found on 90210 and you start telling yourself that crap, and then all of a sudden you try to figure out why you, like Brandon, didn't get Brenda or whoever you was trying to get, whatever.
I mean, think
That was
about it.
good.
But you know what? Hey, and then I think you also said too when you were talking about how people believe these shows and stuff like that. Well, like
That
it's the
was
same
before
thing.
we
It's
went
all yeah.
live.
So it's the same thing to me. It's like any text that you read, it has to come from a place where it's relatable for you to understand it. So, for instance, if as a little kid say, "Man, look, I want to be Master Splinter." Why you want to be Master Splinter? And you sit up there and you look at all the symbolism of Master Splinter. Like if I break it down, say, well, shoot, Master Splinter was carried. He took four things that was not his kind, and he
He was
raised them to
also
be the best thing that he was cold with the hands and this and that, and then and you know it was like he was father to people that ain't even his. How many stepfathers that you have out there that pretty much raise sons that are not theirs and give them the tools that they need to survive? So that's something that, so even though the Ninja Turtles are fictional characters, it goes back to what I call science fiction. You know what I'm saying? The retro mutagen ooze was a scientific element that wound up going in the sewer to make them humanoid. Now that was something that was fictional, but the fact is you have people out there that will take care of something that ain't theirs, that's a totally different kind, a totally different ilk, to help them become the best that they can be. So it's just like in the Bible. There's a lot of things that you don't, that like 2,000 plus years ago, that this was made and it identified with humans and identified with things that probably didn't even exist before then. Like you think about like this is a little bit off the path, but it'll get there. Like when was the last time you seen a platypus?
In a movie.
But you knew it
on
was
the
here
Discovery
because
Channel.
but you knew it was here because the platypus ain't here no more. The dodo bird ain't here no more. Like the dodo bird was out when I came in. Like the dodo bird was going out
Yeah,
when I came in. And
yeah.
so it was these species that was here we only heard about. So imagine what that was back then. What species? Because I remember in the Bible they talk about the behemoth, or we usually or the other pronunciation is the behemoth. So, and we know a behemoth is big. So we don't know exactly what that is. But the thing about it is, what's relatable is there is no problem that didn't exist back then, or dilemma that didn't exist back then that still
That
exists now when you're dealing with people. Well, when you're dealing with humans, we don't know what everything. But I tell you one thing, like if it was like what's the one thing, like if somebody uh stepped on your toe and they didn't say that they were sorry, okay, and now I feel like it's disrespect. Same thing now. Somebody go to Chocolate Town and they step on your Jordans and then you don't say you sorry. It's probably gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's
It
like
don't matter
that's
if you
all I'm
say
saying
you
is.
suck.
they really don't, because
But still, it was like,
they gonna
but you
feel
kind of knew.
disrespected, period.
Yeah, so you still feel kind of that still, those outcomes are not different because you're dealing with the same type of realm. So just like I said, with any type of story, when you add any type of fact into it, it's going, any type of relatable fact into it, it's gonna stick out. So you'll sit up there and talk about P Valley, you'll sit up there and talk about Game of Thrones, and you'll sit up there and talk about Dragon Ball like it's real because it has to relate to life in some type of way to make it interesting. And that's how, and I believe one point in time, that's the way we grow. That's how we, it's just the difference is you could talk about the football season and gain whatever you need to get out of football. Some people just might not be into that. And then they won't know what you talk about. The same way I talk about anime and people won't know what I'm talking about. But it's the same, it's the same principle. You can't go outside of the realm of understanding or something that doesn't exist. Everything, there's nothing new under the sun. So every story is gonna have the same types of elements in it. It's just everybody has a different twist on it.
Okay.
So all that being said,
Yeah.
I totally agree with Frederick. That's what I'm saying about the
Okay.
stories when he's talking about stories. Do we
How
have
people
anybody in
discussing
here?
Rochelle.
Okay.
Rochelle is in here. Rochelle is she hasn't responded on it. I mean, like Frederick taught me, when the truth is spoken, people get quiet.
People get quiet.
And remember when I said earlier, when the truth is spoken, people not ready for it. They leave. They're going to either take it and absorb it, or they're going to freeze it up. Nope, can't deal with it. But we're not going to worry about that, because what we're doing is giving them the information to help them understand what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, internally and externally. So, like I told you in the beginning, these tools is to help them grow, and it's to help us grow. Now, Frederick, you have you said you wanted to provide some information regarding how to break the poverty cycle. Do you see anything in The Poor Man's Guide? Is it, or is it the same book? Two different books? Help me out there.
It's the same book. It's The Poor Man's Guide to Breaking the Poverty Cycle.
Okay. Now,
the main thing is, how you gonna break poverty? How you gonna break out of the poverty cycle, but you won't budget?
So that would go under. So I'm bringing this up, unintentional deception. So that's why we're pulling this. So drop your nuggets, please.
Well, the thing is, what I go into it about is I'm giving different examples on budgeting, because budgeting is how you control your financial life. So if you don't have a budget, I mean, even the Bible tells you that you must count the cost. You know, what man is going to go build a castle and everything? He doesn't count how much it's going to cost him. You're going to have to put all of these things together. You're going to go to different vendors for different things. That requires a budget. When you have a building that's going up, they have a budget. When you have a country that's being run, they have a budget. When you go to any company, any restaurant, they have a budget that they go by. When I'm in maintenance and I'm trying to fix some machines, we have a budget. But you believe that you can go out in the world without a budget, not knowing where your money's gonna go, where it's coming from, how you gonna come out with that $10 million and you gonna be wearing a Jordan and all this other stuff when you got bus fare money.
See, and this goes back to what Chosen was saying about relationships. When a man wants to step in and help this female, but he's on a Chuck E. Cheese budget.
Yeah,
Well, a Chuck E. Cheese salary.
Your ass working at Chuck E. Cheese, but you sitting up and talking about every time she get mad, she have a bad day, I want to drop $100 in her purse. You can't do that shit because you working on Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Okay, now let me bring up another deception. Okay, these days when you have a computer and you looking and you get all kind of job offers and all this other stuff. And if you sitting there thinking that you're going to just walk into one of these places and fill out an application because you was too lazy to write up your resume, okay, you setting yourself up for failure.
Yes, indeed.
Because if you don't have a resume already set up, specified for what you're trying to get, or at least generalizing so that they can hit certain points, nobody's going to call you in. Nobody's going to want to. They don't want to see you no more. They ask you
already know.
Send us your resume. Send us your resume. And you got these people out here. They're talking about they want to make it, all these big dreams, and they don't have a resume. Could put a budget together if they had a calculator. And
all right.
Put a budget
Rochelle
together.
say, we have a comment. Rochelle says, I do agree with Frederick and Ro. Chosen. People lie to themselves on a daily basis. They may have good intentions of wanting to accomplish something, but then fall short at actually doing the work to achieve their goal.
That's it.
That's it in a nutshell.
Now let me bring up another thing that is one of my pet peeves.
Okay.
Now, when you out there and you're trying to get more out of life, online learning and that type of stuff, you got Ford Pinto money. You go buy a $500-600 iPhone when you could have bought a computer.
Man.
At your house. Learning on it. Doing stuff with it. And all of these things that you need to do, because you can't put your resume out there without a computer. You can't do you can't really do your budget without a computer, because I use an Excel program.
But we do that on the phones now.
Really? But can you do that?
You can actually do that on the phone.
I understand that. But the issue is, you're looking at a tiny little screen that doesn't support the software that they use in the real world, but somehow your little stupid phone is going to do all of that.
No, you can actually use Excel in your phone.
I know you can, but you can't see the whole page. And if you can't see the
I
whole
see.
picture, there's too many things you miss.
Too
So
many things you
how
mean.
about I
Portrait and
spend,
landscape.
well, how about I spend $200 or $300 that I was gonna spend on that $700 iPhone, give me a nice computer that I can use, and then have my phone over here so that I can use that when I don't have access to my computer. I think they call that planning.
And
Man, you know
budgeting.
what?
You know, I
And
get it.
planning and budgeting,
Yeah, I get it.
once again, dipping into the unintentional
Uh-huh.
slash intentional deception, thinking that,
Rochelle,
hey, go ahead. What she
Rochelle
say, Chef?
also says that that's the, remember we brought up living in a hovel but looking expensive?
Yeah.
Man, exactly. Oh,
That that
go ahead.
that I was just saying that goes back to that, like she was saying, keep, like we were talking before, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to appear as though that you are more than what you really are, you have more
Uh-huh.
than what you really are. And it's amazing how this is still tying into unintentional and intentional deceptions.
It's both of them. So,
Well, that's
yeah,
in the poor man's guide too.
Okay.
So
spending
I say keeping up
spending
with the
money
Joneses.
you ain't got,
Hey, there
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Credit.
spending money you ain't got to
Now I love what you
spending
said.
money that you ain't got to buy shit you don't need to impress people you don't like.
And
Yes,
you
you.
know the best part is that's in the book.
And Frederick, let's do this plug. How do we get this book?
Oh, you can go on Amazon.com and just type in FD Sparkman. It'll take you to all three books. The Poor Man's Guide is there. It's specifically for men right now because I'm working on the one that's specifically for women because it's more detailed and more difficult to write because women have more avenues and more access to help and things that men don't. So
Yeah, you and I've touched on that before.
my problem is getting the females to help me with the information I need. There's certain things that
I was just about to ask you if the missus was going to help you with this one.
which I can't have it from just one woman. I got to actually write something that works, that I know for a fact works.
Yeah,
There's no
because you're
point
gonna
in
need
putting it
the
out.
input and
Have you done the
perspective from more than one.
Yeah.
and we've talked about writing female and male versions. Um, I was about to say the one that's specifically for men. Would that be not only because you wrote it yourself, but would it be that it's needed since men are supposed to be the providers, supposed to be the head of household, supposed to be teaching and guiding the wife and the children on how to budget, and they are supposed to be responsible for that?
Well,
Or
true,
am
but
I mistaken?
no, you're not mistaken at all. But I wasn't looking at that fact. What I was
Okay.
looking at was I see all of these guys around me. They're in their like 60s, 50s, pushing 70, and they're out there on the floor with us younger guys, and they're trying to keep up because they don't have a choice because
Mm.
they didn't plan, they they didn't seek out to be the best that they could be. They just got a job, and that's another deception that's out there. Get a job.
Man, get it, man, bruh.
The book of Job, his name means afflicted. So you asking God for a good affliction. Yo, Lord, give me a good affliction. I need
Job,
another affliction.
Job.
Or get a
Joe.
job. My auntie told me, well, you don't need to be trying to be so high-minded and all this other stuff. Just get a job. And I'm trying to tell her. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say
That's
I'm
because they were
overqualified.
raised with job security. You have to
There
have
is no
job
such thing.
security. You and I know there is no such thing as
There's
job
no
security.
such thing as, man. Look,
However, that is what
y'all
we were.
know.
That's what we were brought up to believe.
One of the main reasons I wanted to write the Poor Man's Guide was because of this older white guy. He had been on that job, getting ready to retire. And then all of a sudden, they start messing with this guy. And I mean, messing with this guy. Anything to get him to quit so he wouldn't get his
So
retirement.
he wouldn't get his retirement.
And that's why I teach in the Poor Man's Guide. If you're stupid enough to be loyal to a company, they're stupid enough to give you what you're going to deserve. Because that's nonsense. You ever notice that every 10 years, these companies get bought out by somebody else and it wipes away everything that you had before?
That
or
is,
change their
you
names.
gotta the company merge and then you gotta start all over and
Yeah.
yeah, been there.
Okay. So the whole point is
That's
you have
intentional
to
deception.
plan.
Intentional
Exactly.
That's
deception.
intentional deception.
But
Mm-hmm.
your deal is when you're young, is when you're supposed to make all your mistakes, when you can afford to make those mistakes. You have the strength
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to go and make those changes. So you have to use up your youth to secure your old age. And you have to think smarter. So you should be on a program to where, all right, I can go out there and abuse my body while I'm young so that I can park it behind a desk when I get too old. So you can
Mm-hmm.
still have a job, but you need to be behind the desk. You need to be doing something that your body can keep up with. And the poor man's guide is not the rich man's guide. It's basically saying what you need to do to get out of poverty.
To get out of poverty.
To get out of poverty. Breaking the
Poverty is when
cycle.
you cannot afford what you need. Nobody said that about what you want. Poverty is what you need.
And I'm trying to tell you, you hit the
Yeah, you
nail on the
did.
head. You hit the nail on the head. Like
Yeah, you
for
did.
real. Cause it's been so many times. If you want to go into an unintentional deception and intentional deception, how many times? Maybe this is just me. When you sit up there and you talking about something that you want, like I sit up here and I go, say like when I was trying to go get this headset, remember me telling you I'm gonna go get me another headset, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I got the money, I got the money for it. I can specifically for this, it's not gonna hurt no bills, it's not gonna hurt nothing. And I go up here and I look at this headset, and I be like, I'm ready to grab this headset. And I'm like, dang, I prepared for this. So what's up with the hesitation? So I really don't need the shit.
Honey. Yeah, you
And
really
so
don't.
you sitting up and trying to convince yourself, oh, just go and get it. You know that you want it. And then that right there is like deceiving you that you need something that you really don't. So that's to me that's another example. And we said just like Frederick said, man, you really don't need it, but you trying to convince yourself that you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a luxury.
I'm not going
So
to sit up and say I hadn't fallen victim to that because I
we
didn't
all
purchase a
have.
number of things
We
that I
all
don't
have
need and don't touch.
stuff that we don't need, and this man, bruh. And I tell you, man, I got
But I'm like,
y'all know I'm a game head too.
there you go.
Alongside of a songwriter, producer, I'm a game head. I love anime. I love all that shit. Man, if I sit up there and told you how many games I got between my PS4 and my Xbox that might as well still be in the plastic, your ass would be like, "Damn, dog." I'm like the collector on the Avengers and the Marvel movies, the collector. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I just be collecting shit.
Hey,
And
I'm
at one
guilty of
point in
that
time,
too.
I set up there. At one point in time, I set up and I was like, man, I'm just gonna get it. Why am I gonna get it? Do I really need it? No. Did it hurt
Really?
anything? No. But I set up there and I was like, I just went ahead and did it.
A
But
fireplace
the
lighter,
the
Frederick?
unintentional
Huh?
the unintentional deception is that I
Hey,
deceived myself to say, hey, this is why I should get it.
No, I got what you're saying. I got
Mhm.
Frederick threw me off with that fireplace
Yeah,
lighter.
with the fireplace lighter.
Yes.
Hey man, when you need a light, you need a
He
light,
said
right?
he didn't need to buy it and he got a fireplace lighter.
Nah, really, you didn't.
oh, me?
Yes, you.
I have those for my barbecue. Thank you. And I bought like a 10 pack for like $8. So don't hate on the brother.
You will never run out of gas.
You.
Hey, but I'm prepared.
Unlimited supply.
Oh,
Now
I
I got a
needed
lighter.
that.
It fell under the bed and I didn't feel like getting it, so I used my fireplace lighter.
Yeah.
But the thing
Okay.
is, I have it at hand. It's there. I've already prepared for it. It's like you ever notice that as our economy goes to pot, what we
Mm-hmm.
can buy with our money is going to pot as well. So you got
Mm-hmm.
these packages, they're getting smaller, or the packages are still big, but they're full of air, and your money ain't behind
Yeah.
it to buy before.
Okay.
Okay, so but you got to plan for that. Okay, so if you still living off that $11 that you was making 10 years ago, and
Wow.
now you move into this new economy, it's gonna get harder
It's
and
gonna get
harder
real
and
hard
harder
Mm-hmm.
for you to make it.
because you have not adjusted your mindset to gain, to put yourself in a position to earn more.
Mm-hmm. Now
I
that
mean,
goes back to the I don't like to read, I don't want
I
to
don't like
read,
to
so
say
I'm not gonna
unintentional
do
slash intentional
make this
deception.
step to get another position, a higher position, or move around to another company where I make more,
Yeah.
could budget more. you know.
well,
Hey,
see,
speaking
my
of
neighbor
that,
next door, hold on, let me tell you this. My neighbor
hmm
next door, he's above the age that I list for the book.
okay,
And it has helped him out so much because he was one of those older guys. And I was like, if you want something different, you got to do something different.
You
you
gotta do
got to
something
do
So,
different.
something different.
so I gave him the book and I said, I want you to read it and I want you to review it for me and tell me what you think. Now, I watched that book change his whole life because I talked in there about as these bills and everything start climbing higher, food and everything else. Well, most people don't
hmm
know stuff you can go online and buy, and it's a whole lot cheaper than walking into a store. You save money everywhere you can, here a little, there a little. And
Mm-hmm.
what he's learned to do is I also have a part in there where I talk about the seven bosses that you have and how to
hmm
deal with types of people.
The
Because a
different
lot,
personalities.
yeah,
Yeah.
you ever had that person you talk to and they getting ready to go to a job interview and you say, well, you ready for it? Yeah, 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 man, I got this. I know how to talk to people. And I said,
Mm.
okay, well, let's do a little mock interview here. And I started doing a mock interview with him. And dude, he sounded like he got a second grade education.
They clam up and then they really don't know what
Can't,
they're talking
can't read,
about
can't read.
because you decided that you did not need to read.
Yeah,
Didn't
didn't need to
research the
prep.
company, didn't know it. Yeah.
No, this dude had been at the company for like 3 years, same as me. And I'm asking him questions that any supervisor would ask because I was a maintenance manager at the time. And he's
So
bombing left and right. Boom.
so he thought he was going to get the position because he was already an employee of the company.
No,
In-house
Because
is
he
all
thought he knew.
he thought he knew.
He thought he
yeah,
knew. Because you think you know it,
self-deception.
it's just because, yeah, it's a self-deception. You know
But
hmm
what, man?
are
Go
you
ahead.
ready for the interview? Oh, yeah, 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 I got it. Man, I sat there. He was taking notes by the time I got done with him. So,
Helping each other. That's what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. We're helping each other advance. So unintentional deception and intentional deception. It what is the word I want to use? It goes back with belief systems, thought processes, consequences for them,
Consequences
and
for the actions.
repercussions for them actions.
You ready for some
And
repercussions on these intentional deception?
there it
well,
is, right there.
we're also looking at reality versus your
Now,
social.
okay, I've been hearing this word all week. Reality, reality. Whose reality?
It was reality.
Okay, then let's go with this. The defined reality of all the people around you that says that it is true. A cultural norm.
Once again,
Social constructs.
social constructs. Once again, you can't. Once again, okay. For instance, we all seen the color purple. If I
Mm-hmm.
sit up and say it's gonna rain on your head, you knew exactly who said it. You knew
Mm-hmm.
exactly what part it was. If I sit up and say you told Harpo to beat me,
Mm.
it's a relatable thing. So that's something that everybody has taken into at one point and said, you know where I'm coming from, you know where it came from. So, but the fact that the fact that that line and that movie exists was something that was given to everybody so that it could shape that part of their it's a common, like you said, social construct. It's a common thing that we can all relate to. It's the togetherness that forms a certain part of their reality. So if you go outside and you know that every gas station has one thing in common. They all have pumps. They all have a convenience store. So what I might go into the gas station or the convenience store might be different from what the next person goes in there to get. But that does not alter the fact that we go there for the same thing. We go in
Okay.
there to exercise the fact that we are consumers. So when all these things are common, that's what part that's the common part of the reality. So when you say whose reality, there's a part in reality that we all share, but then there's also the other part of reality that we create, because you know how we always say you create your own reality, and that's
Mm-hmm.
whenever you step back And when everybody's running away from the dragon, I chose to be one of the ones that run to the dragon. What the fuck you afraid of? You know what I'm saying? So that's that's where I start to create my part of reality, because it's like y'all scared of whatever it is that y'all just see it. Y'all didn't take time to understand it. So
Truth.
that being said, I'm just saying, whenever you say whose reality, some people don't understand that. Because some people feel like reality is real. PM Dawn had a song called, I don't know if y'all
Reality
remember
used to be
PM
a
Dawn.
friend of mine.
Reality used to be a friend of mine. Like that. So it's like some people feel like that your reality is the same reality as me. In a lot of cases, we can sit down and talk about the same things, and find common ground, and things to be congruent, and we be on the same parallel plane. But let me start talking about some stuff that I've had in my walk, and things that I've delved into, and then you start getting quiet because you either haven't experienced that yet, or you haven't opened that dimension up in your mind to even fathom about what it is I'm talking about. So that's why I sit up and say, like, just to bring what you said to light. Because when you said, because those words you said, whose reality, that's what stuck out to me. And that's, so it might be people that's in here that might say, that's a good question. I just wanted to bring some clarity to that, because shoot, your reality might be different than your, for instance, one part
And
of
it's
your reality, go ahead.
everyone's walk is different.
Everyone's walking where I might know, you know what I'm saying, where I
Okay, can
might,
I interrupt though when you say
yep,
that
you sure
one's walk
can.
is different? If you
Mm-hmm.
show if you show up 10 minutes late for work, I guarantee you your reality and mine are the same.
We're gonna
I
watch you
This
get
guarantee
is
walked
you
up out of there.
gonna alter your reality real quick.
Alter your
if you
reality real
on
quick.
empty, I guarantee you we share the same reality.
But,
You walk up to a cop and slap him, I guarantee you we have the same reality.
yeah. But see, some people might be different, and some people, like, we go again, like once again, we'll sit up and talk about how that's, how that can be different too. Because I don't know if you saw it, I made that post talking about you at your job, you having a disagreement with one of your coworkers, and they spit in your face. What you doing next?
Mm-hmm.
Where some people, when we go back into it, we talk about emotional and rationalism, and we
Rationalism.
sit up and
Mm-hmm.
talk about, okay, the rational thing to be to do is, hey, if I fight, the rational thing to do is, hey, let HR take care of that, and I still
Mm-hmm.
got my job, and this joker getting walked out. But when you act off ego, when you let ego get in there, and you get off and do them emotions, we talk about hell in a cell. You know what I'm saying? We talk about WrestleMania 5,
Mm-hmm.
6, 7,
Hey,
2020, whatever you want to.
I got something good on that because back in the 90s in the army, we
Okay.
had a rash of the brothers. Well, when I say brothers, I mean all males. We start waking up. I mean, no offense, since you are a female, but this is
None
against my
taken.
story. So I'm in a situation, and I've watched other people be in a situation where the woman will start to stuff, smack the man, and he go to jail. And so, like you say,
Shoot, that happens outside of military.
you got emotions and you got rationality. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, what I started doing is like when my wife came and smacked me, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna call the cops, falling around like a little girl and watch them come and stuff because I'm not gonna hit you.
I ain't gonna
Now, when
hit
they
you.
come and
Why am
stuff
I
you
gonna
and
make
break
my
your
life
arm,
harder?
the call, but then you try to figure out what happened. I'm gonna show you what it's like. Reality,
Intentional or unintentional deception.
exactly. But the thing is the deception is you come hit me, and the world has you believing they always gonna side with the woman. But back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, that was changing. Soldiers was like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You hit me, I'm calling the cops.
You
Well,
hit me,
yeah, they
I'm
did.
just gonna be a little.
They finally did start. They finally started doing that, and we started receiving more and more statistics of men being abused by their female counterparts,
Uh-huh.
things of
Now,
that.
you know what taught me one thing? I'm not to cut you off before I miss this daughter. What taught me one thing was watching Brandy ass do what she did to Darnell. That man ain't put not one finger on her. She went and got a orange, put it in a sock,
Oh, thin line between love and hate.
smashed her jaw, broke her own hand. And
If
I
that
was
didn't
like, you know
teach
what?
men
I was
there,
like, you know what, bruh? That's one of
you
the
got this.
doggone. Hey, look, that's one of the doggone. That whole movie was a intentional slash unintentional deception. You sitting up here trying to tell this lady you love her just so you can get you some wop. Man, bro, that should have taught you then. So
That goes back to that thought process, consequences,
repercussions for them
repercussions for them
actions.
actions, the
Yep.
unintentional and intentional deception, those lies that we call them out here,
Yep.
lies that's
Them
Okay,
lies.
told,
well
lived.
let's go back to one that Chosen brought up. Okay, so I'm at work and this guy wants to throw down. Well, I know for a fact I can't afford to lose my job. But then I can see here, well, I'm a man and I can let my ego talk me into it. Now I'm gonna have to deal with the repercussions when I swing back or I swing first. I mean, it's still a I don't care. When people say I don't care and I don't know, those are two of the biggest lies I always
I
hear.
was just about to say
It's
that.
bad when because it's bad when you try to think that you believe that because when you go, man, look, when the high or the adrenaline, whatever you want to call it, comes down and comes off, and you really start being rational. Because the thing about it is the rational part is going to come. Have you ever been in an argument or have you ever been in a situation and after the whole thing was over, you was like, dang, I should have did that.
When
Dang,
you replay it over, yeah,
if I had a
yep,
thought to say that, then golly, you know the outcome would be so different. You know what I'm
so
saying?
much different. Yep, but
Yeah, it'd
because
be
you're
so much
running on
different.
that emotion and that adrenaline that
And that adrenaline,
you're in it right there. You're in
so
the
that's
thick of
why
it.
so that's why I always say that's why I always try to say, hey, when you start trying to train in a different dimension of thinking, you have to image training is always good. And I always use the term image training because you have to sit and you have to think about what would you do in that position. That's why with martial arts, even the most trained martial arts, you have black belts. They they don't. Some of them still operate less than 100% within their training because you have to think about the situation. Some of their moves, some of the skills in their move set, they're situational. And them situations sometimes come as flashcards. You know what I'm saying? So you don't either your strike isn't
Slow to
as
react.
effective
Slow to
or your movement, but yeah, you slow to react. Your reaction time is different. So whenever you sit up there and you train yourself, you still want to. Once again, that intentional slash unintentional
deception.
deception comes there saying, "Well, I'm not gonna train today," and you knowing that you should because you want to be at the top of your class. You want to be more efficient with your skill set. So you sit up there and you do so. Like I say, man, look, I look and seen so many ways that people get themselves caught up with certain things that they shouldn't get caught up with because they choose not to train themselves and pay attention to their training. So like a woman slap me now, I know how. If a woman, most dudes be like, nah, dog, she slapped you, she need to die. A woman, I promise you, I sit up and I imagine myself in so many situations. And it's trained, a woman slapping me, and I just turn around and have this little and
Do
just
you
start
know how
laughing.
I get
You
caught
know,
up in a position like that in a no-win situation? The best thing that you could possibly do, if you are able, is remove yourself from the situation.
look, yeah, look, and just start laughing, like just evil laugh, like fake crazy ass look and evil laugh. It's like I gravitate towards that because I feel like that you did something to me. How's another way I can strike fear into you without even touching you? My whole concept of something is like saying kill you without even touching you, and it's like okay, you know how they say anticipation of death is worse than death itself. You know how
Yes.
you play a prank on you, right? And they be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you for this, and I'm gonna get you." But I might not even have the intention of going. I might not even have the intention of going to get. But the fact that you have to watch your back or watch every door, look up because it might be a pot of oatmeal sitting up there waiting to fall on your head. Just knowing that the fact of you watching your back or you waiting on something to happen, you know how that affects your peace of mind. And I might
Right.
not even have that. I might not even wind up doing that just for me saying it because of what you did, those repercussions and
Mhm.
consequences of the actions of something that you did to me. And then I know how to use that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I
sit up
know
and
exactly
yeah,
what you're saying. I had
All
yeah.
this
right.
dude, I was
Comment
working
here.
security,
Hold on,
and I'm on the
Frederick.
bus.
Hold
Huh?
on, Frederick. Hold on.
Okay.
Jarrell says you have to know people so you can determine what argument is worth having.
Exactly.
True.
I totally agree with that.
True.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Now, keep in mind though, there are people that you may have known for years, and all of a sudden, just one incident could flip a switch, and there's somebody you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
only if they've deceived you for so many damn years.
There we go.
Speaking of,
Unintentional and intentional deception.
good
So,
morning, Jarrell. What's up, bro?
good morning. Now, here, with him saying that, it goes back to what I just said. You said only if they've been deceiving you for years. This is the case out there. This is the case. Now, I said, Chosen, we spoke about how you feed different sides of yourself. You have the
Mm-hmm. So
higher and lower self.
yeah, higher and lower self.
And then all of us have that one part of us that we put to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
We put to sleep. That's that side that we don't let come out to play.
What side
Now,
is this?
that's that lower self, real low self.
You talking about good and evil?
Yes.
Okay, why did you just
Now,
say that?
you know what? You understand what I'm saying.
Yep.
When he say you have to know the people, you
Well,
can
see,
know a
that's it.
person for years, and that evilness in them will wake up in the blink of an eye. So
Well,
even
that's not
because he
exactly
said,
true.
well, in my experiences, it is.
You said know a person. In
Yeah,
order
you
to
can know a person.
know one, they have to be known for telling you the truth. You judge their actions. You watch their actions. You know how they will react in any given situation. That's to know
Mhm.
someone. Now, if you have
Now,
an
how often is that
association
actually?
with somebody for years, that's not the same thing as knowing them.
I'm sorry, you said what now? I'm gonna
If
need
you
you to
have an
replay that.
okay, he said know people, right?
Yeah,
Okay, hold on. I'm
you have
having
to know
audio
people.
difficulties. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm barely hearing you. Okay, so
Yeah,
y'all go
he
ahead
said
and say
you have to
something.
know people so you can determine what argument is worth happening. That I could sum that up in choose your own battles. I mean, choose your battles wisely. Okay? Thank you, Jarrell. You got to realize that the only reason Superman didn't destroy the world is because he
He
chose to save it.
chose to save it.
Humility. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now I
Okay.
can go back to what I was trying to say
Go ahead.
since I stopped having my audio difficulties. Well, when you say know somebody,
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference between having an association with people for years and
Mm-hmm.
knowing them for years. Now, when you
Okay.
know somebody, you watch them, you've tested them, you know how they're going to respond to certain situations and circumstances. Whereas if you have an associate that you just basically deal with and you assume that they're going to respond this way and you assume that they're going to respond that way, they're an
Man, okay.
associate. You don't know what they're going to do.
That's, you know what? I'm gonna piggyback off of that, what Frederick's
Okay.
saying, because there's two different levels in and I believe what he's getting at, there's two different levels. Okay, so if I let's say I ain't gonna say me. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Toretto and the rest of the squad want to go rob this bank in Brazil, right? Okay, so want to go rob this, want to go do this job. I want to go do this job, right? So we know what is in the area. So let's
Okay.
say we create this diversion. Maybe there's this one little place, and we set a fire to this place. So what's gonna happen? Either the cops gonna come and submerge onto this one little area, and everybody in the fire, everybody that's there is gonna pay attention to that place. That's just the human psyche. What in a whole of what the masses would do. High speed chase. They sit up.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna high speed chase. Everybody's gonna submerge onto this. We can draw a great deal of the cops, great deal of police and the media to that high speed chase.
They
So
use
if
that
they're
tactic in
yeah,
one movie. Yeah.
yeah, huh?
They use that tactic in the movie. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
keep
so
going.
we
You
we,
got
we,
me.
we, 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 we we do that because we know that's how majority of these people are going to
Respond.
react. You set fire to a place that you in, the one thing you're gonna respond is I'm finna run up out this place because I don't want to burn. And
Right.
so while they're doing that and with the great distraction, we can go ahead and do what we need to do up the street at this bank because we got less people as owners or whatever. So so the second level of that is chances are I've taken my time out to case this bank, and maybe like
Interesting.
we take time out to case this bank. So we know that we know the exits and we know the cameras on this right here. So we know exactly what to do to make calculated stakes to pull this heist off. And so it's two levels to that. So if I know somebody on a personal level, and I'm sitting up here and I know how you get mad, if I know how this person get mad if I cheat at a game of Street Fighter, your ass gonna throw your controller, and I don't, and I want to break your bank and make you go buy another TV, and I'm like, I'm gonna beat you 3 times in this game, and I know that's your breaking point, and you gonna break your controller, and I know you're gonna break your controller, but wouldn't it be sweet if you threw that bitch at the TV? And then you wind up doing, it's a big chance that you're gonna do that shit. So you break your controller and you throw it at the TV, and then after that, I'll make you feel real shit and say, hey, you gotta go buy you another TV, huh?
Yeah, I
And
heard
then
him
you be
say.
like, yeah, you gotta go buy you another TV now, huh? So it's like that second level is I know I have a really good example of what you're gonna do because I know you as a person. The first level of it is, if I put all these snakes on a plane, everybody gonna get scared. Now that's a good, it might be a chance that it might be a snake charmer on the plane and this joker might know how to charm her, but I thought about that, but hey, that's not finna really but that's not finna stop everybody else from panicking. So I understand exactly what Frederick is saying. It's to know somebody and to know, it's two levels of that, to know somebody and to know them on that personal level and to know the psyche of humans. If I know the psyche of humans, we start running, and then the black folks start running, and then later on down the street we ask, hey, what we running for?
So Jarrell said he was saying basically that you never know a person until the power switches hands, and that's what I was getting at.
Yep.
Because you can know a person and you can have an idea on what they, like you said, assume and everything. You may watch their behavior and all, but again, everyone has that level that they don't show, that you don't know. That's what I was getting at.
And I'm gonna let you, and I'm just gonna touch on this, and then I'm gonna get off of it. That's why one is, if you y'all know one of my favorite DC characters is Batman. That's why they call Batman the greatest detective, because he understands the psyche of most people in Gotham City. Okay. He's able to solve them cases because he's like, I pretty much know what Joker, Penguin, the Riddler, pretty much what they're gonna do. 20 steps ahead because he understands the psyche of most people.
Okay, so right here, we've been talking about unintentional/intentional deceptions. We've touched on multiple things to tie into it. We are at our hour mark. Does anyone have any other questions or statements they want to make on the subject?
I know we said we was at the hour mark, and I said I was going to draw this out we're going to draw this out just a little bit longer because we didn't really have quite the audience, and the ones that showed up, I want to give a shout out to them. Jarrell, man, if y'all don't know this dude, man, number one, he's a very, very talented artist. Y'all need to go peep out his EP, his album, Greatest Coldest Story. Very intelligent brother as well. So shout out to him, man, for tuning in. And then I told y'all we was gonna get into this little part of it, man. We covered intentional deception. So we're gonna do this. We covered unintentional deception. We're finna do this intentional deception.
Intentional deceptions.
And what I said, I was gonna go off of part of that is dating females. You meet her behind, and she got the face beat real good, and you fail to take her swimming for the first date. You take her swimming on that first date, you get the face beat, man, and that way you can see all that deception wash away. So we gonna get into a little bit of that if we so want to. The intentional deception. Intentional deception is knowing that I'm not this, but I want to show you that I am. I'm going to show you who I'm not.
Makeup.
Do things that you ain't. You know what I'm saying? So What we was going makeup,
Hey,
wigs,
all I
even
gotta say is skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
That falls
yeah.
under the intentional deceptions out here. I can't really touch on that. I don't wear makeup.
You're one
I
of the
was,
good ones.
so I can't touch on
I'm
that. So,
blowing my head up now.
what did you
She'll
say?
say holy iodine Batman.
Okay, what is your perspective on this? Your point of view on women and the makeup and the wigs and
You
everything
know
else
what,
that is intentional
man,
deception?
before if you okay, us growing up in the 90s, because you know me and
Mhm.
you went to school together. Back then it was simple. You know, y'all, back when the girls used to put a little lipstick, little lip
Mhm.
gloss on, and then you have all that going on or whatever. It wasn't as immense now. Nowadays you see these big old, I'm talking about 30-minute live videos, the
With an
Jessica
airbrush. With
Rabbit,
an airbrush.
the with an airbrush, the Jessica Rabbit face beat, the Catwoman face beat, and you do you remember seeing the little post where they showed how this lady before and after, like she didn't look
Mhm.
nothing like she did when she had the makeup on, and,
What?
and, and I mean, and so it's like, okay, y'all want to, I mean, like some of them really want to sit up and say, oh, that's fine, but then they look at the part that's really a deception. This is what I thought I was gonna get, and I wound up sleeping at your house, and you went, this is what I went to sleep with. I went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I went to sleep with Haley Berry and woke up with Sloth from the Goonies.
You know
Like,
what? I've
like,
heard that so many times.
Now,
what
I
the
got something that I
show?
can add to that, but
Go right ahead.
it's not along the same exact context. Well, the thing
Okay.
is, you ever read the book, The 12 Patriarchs?
No.
Uh-uh.
Well, it talks about in the beginning when the angels first came down and they decided to come and corrupt men. One
Oh
of the
yeah.
first things
Yep.
they did was they taught women to wear makeup, tinctures, and
Mm.
paints, and that act in of itself is deceptive
Mm-hmm.
because, like he's saying, you're portraying something that you are not,
That you are not.
and it is caught, and it basically is set up so that you can capture a man that you couldn't otherwise get.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So
Mm.
if you couldn't otherwise get this man without your deception, then how are you going to keep this man when your deception is removed?
As
Mm.
Jarrell said, some people need to first analyze if they are dateable.
Yeah, I saw that. Now,
If they're what?
If
if
they are
they are
dateable.
dateable,
Well,
So you
I'm
look in
not
the
dating.
mirror. Hmm, am I good for a date? No, I am not. Fuck my life.
Hey, hey,
that's
like I
where
always say, I just like somebody hit a van with a motorcycle. So, whatever.
that brings
You know
to
what
the
I'm saying?
movie Mercy to mind. I believe that was the name of it, Mercy.
Mercy with the one
Yes,
with the
with
oh.
yeah, you frowning up. So I think that is the right movie. The woman that tied boy to the bed and
Now that's called misery.
misery. There it is, misery. Hey, we need mercy out here. I'm sorry, misery. That movie. It's. I was bringing that up to say the way there are girls that have grown up to be women that were taught how, like you said, to catch a man, how to catch him. The problem becomes after you catch him, keeping him, because now you didn't already pull the wool over his eyes and showed him a part of you that's not you.
You
You
don't get
gave
your
him this
Peter
Mona Lisa.
Pumpkin eater,
You gave him this Mona Lisa.
right?
So when I say when Jarrell says some people need to first analyze if they are dateable,
That can be a
uh,
mental state too, not just always
about
out our periods.
not outer surface. I'm taking that going deeper, emotionally, mentally,
Am I
um,
crazy? Deranged?
deranged, insane, you know. Um, I think those are some questions that do drive people to deceive intentionally, because they realize that they really are not dateable. They
You're
are
not
not
dateable.
that package
You're
that
not
they
ready.
want to be for the next person.
I have
So
baggage.
I have, man, admit it, I have
I have
baggage. We
baggage.
all have baggage. It's just about, um, can I work with your baggage?
It's
Can I help you?
it's once again, and it goes into that intentional slash unintentional deception because yeah, you want this, but are you ready for it? You can fool yourself all day and be like, you try to lie to yourself and say you
Mhm,
ready for it, but the bad part about it is when you start to believe that lie, that's whenever you bring other people into it and you hurt other people. You know what I'm
mhm,
Exactly.
saying? You
Yeah.
you hurt them. It's a remember like I said about we were part of Lethal Weapon when when Riggs was fighting them dudes and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, and he kept telling them, he was like, I'm sorry, but he was like, yeah, you hurting them. You
mhm.
probably ain't meaning to hurt them, but you hurting them. Like
Oh,
you
he meant
just
to hurt him
wound up.
because he
He
did.
did, but I'm just saying the whole skit was like the skit was that he was being doing it on accident. So it's like
Okay.
you so what you doing is you get so good. Sometimes you get so good at doing the shit you don't intend on doing that boom, there you have it. You endangering people. And, oh, it's
Like
not me, it's them.
Rochelle say, remember Cherry Surprise on I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Now I remember that
Man.
scene. Oh, I cannot forget that scene. I can't forget
Okay.
that scene.
Yeah,
I
that
want
was
to
a
cut
surprise, all
those
right.
that for the women.
Mhm.
Okay. What about
Boy.
Big Money Sunday syndrome? So you
Who?
got Big Money Sunny.
Big Money
Big
Sonny. I
money,
don't know who
sonny.
that is.
Was he the one that was in the big ass black on the same movie?
No, no. This is not a.
Okay,
This is a syndrome that
okay.
men get where
Okay.
they go and they give the perception that they got money. Oh, yeah, you see them at the club, and they buying everybody around a drink, and this
Sugar
what I'm
Daddy.
doing.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
Sugar
yeah. There
Daddy.
you go.
roll money. And then when he go home to his shack with his pinto, and she thinking she getting this super rich guy, and she get inside his house, he ain't got no furniture,
Mm-hmm.
food, or refrigerator.
That's sad for women as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's sad
Oh,
for women as well especially with the on the housing programs.
you've
You
seen
know,
the Facebook posts. We've seen the Facebook
yeah,
posts and the pictures.
and the pictures.
They had this girl that's sitting up here dazzled up, looking like she could be the Cardi B or whatever. Then they show her apartment. She got a mattress on the floor, and then in the back she ain't even got no curtains. She got a sheet up by the window, and then the closet door ain't even a door. It's one of them little slide doors or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's exactly what that constitutes too. So I totally agree. That works with both, but it really works. It's really prevalent whenever you're dealing when you're seeing with the women. At least that's what I think. At least
That's
that's
what you
what I
think?
see. Hmm?
I
Well,
would, I
I've
would,
seen
I would,
so much
I
on both
think,
sides.
It works for
I,
both, but
I was about to say, I see it more with men, especially when you factor in uh, every weekend strip clubs, drinking, rides, and you really don't have a pot to piss in.
now the reason.
That's big money
Only
syndrome.
reason why I didn't. The only reason why I didn't go there is because me on a personal level, I don't indulge in that. So
No, no, I get
that's
it.
but so
Yeah,
so
we
it's
have
just,
to
that's the only
understand
reason why I said it.
there's
So
still a
excuse
group
me for
out there
being.
that does
It
that.
is. Oh, it is.
you
She be
know,
like, where the Bentley at? The
where
Bentley?
the Bentley
What Bentley? Oh,
he in there
I rented that.
But see, what I love is I'll sit here and have a closet full of polos and really nice clothes. But when
hmm
I come outside, I'm wearing some sweats with some holes in them, some shoes with mud can still caked up on them, and I hop in my old truck and I drive. I was making 77,000 a year at the time, but I walked
Yeah.
around looking like a bum, and nobody bothered me because I knew
So we
that if I
got
look like I have money,
right.
they were gonna be, oh well, what you doing? Because as soon as they saw or they hear that you make such and such a type of money, that attracts the wrong type of people.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
would
There you
turn
go.
I
Okay.
look like a bum when I step out.
We have
Now,
a
when I
comment.
want to, I can dress.
Yeah.
We have a comment here. Jarrell says, independence has created a mass of women that want to be perceived as strong. Instead of becoming a strong woman, they really be striving to be artificial men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're producing artificial men
They
Hold
are
on, stop,
producing artificial men.
because
stop.
you can sit there and swing it. I told you, you better not go nowhere near this single mom thing.
You know, I'm about to say something on this because
You know exactly what I'm finna hit.
I am a single mother, you know, so I'm kind of feeling some type of way about this.
Well, the
You ain't
thing is,
finna get. I give. You my best friend, but I give you no quarter. Once again, you are. You different, but it's your situation is a little bit different. When you have some of these single mothers, I'm hitting on the ones that sit up and talk about I'm hitting on the ones that sit up and talking about how they stress and try to put the fact that, oh, we don't need your father. I don't need you. I don't need him. I'm doing this
Yeah.
all by myself. But yet and still you get that check every month and you and you
Okay, so I'm understanding
from
that category. Okay,
from my
I'm getting.
taxes.
yeah,
What did
you
you
getting
say,
that
Frederick? Frederick,
Yeah,
what did you say?
I said from my taxes.
Okay, so
so if you don't need me and if you don't need nothing to do with me, then you don't need that check either.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that. You don't need that. If you don't need, that's a terrible different story. But just like he said, the society that did that to try to help create those types of women that's striving to be men. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? You sit up there and you can fall for that if you want to, but that's an intentional slash unintentional deception saying you don't need me, but let that check stop running. That phone gonna be ringing off the doggone hook. You gonna get
You ain't lying.
Facebook friend requests. You gonna get DMs. I didn't get that money this month. What happened? And I'll be the type of person that sit up and say, remember all that shit you was talking in your post? Talk about I got this. I don't need this and I don't need this. I'm doing it on my own. Yeah, that's
But you
where
get
that came from.
put it on your own.
Yeah,
okay,
get
so
it on your
Frederick,
own.
you wanted to touch on single moms. Now, does this have a tie in with intentional deception?
Yes, it is.
Let me hear
Because
it.
she's saying I can do everything on my own when nobody can. Men can't do it on their
Mm-hmm.
own.
Mm-hmm.
So you damn sure know women can. And if you bring children into the deal, you damn sure can't do it on your own because it took more than one person to make that child. So it's going to take
Mm-hmm.
more than one person to keep that child home.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, however, I don't agree with child support.
I don't agree with y'all.
I don't. I feel like it
I
took.
I
never.
I feel the way you feel about it. It took both of us to create this human being. I feel like I should not have to take you to court for you to provide for this human being. You should be able to do it
a
willingly.
lot of women have
Mm-hmm.
those
I
children
don't believe
strapped
it.
without child support. I mean, that was the plan from the beginning. I'm gonna give
Mm-hmm.
my child support because you give it this woman, oh baby, till we die, you have a child, so I leave and I'm taking half. That was the plan in the beginning. That was the plan before we got started. So you want your DNA producer, and then you want the financial producer, but you just don't want me as a part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't
Okay.
that? Oh boy,
Oh,
ain't that some shit?
that sound like another show.
It is, but hey, maybe that will be, but
But
it's
that
gonna
is
be.
intentional deception. That is intentional deception. That was what you chose to do before
Yep.
we ever, when I first came and said, hi, I'm Frederick. How you doing?
And then she was like, "Oh, there you go. Oh, got it, got him." All right,
We
so
have
we got a comment. Yeah, so we got a comment from Jarrell. He says, "When protons no longer need electrons, that's the destruction of the atomic structure related to family."
Correct.
I have no rebuttal.
I can see that.
Correct.
I see it. I
That's
have no rebuttal.
absolutely correct.
I have no rebuttal to that.
I have no
Um,
rebuttal.
And he's absolutely correct because
Mm-hmm.
everything is designed to destroy the black family.
Mm-hmm.
and
Everything.
I agree with that. It is. You
And the
know,
problem is when you got all of these people that are deceived into helping the people that are trying to destroy the black family.
Ooh, ooh, now that's juicy. I guess.
Y'all ever notice this is a little bit off of this is a little bit off of the subject, but at the same time it's part of it. Have you ever noticed that when you listen to a lot of our music, that it's only most of our music and our people that delight in taking another man's woman,
Wow. Yes, they boast about it.
which
Yes.
they boast about.
I
I'm in your
disagree.
house eating. I'm in your crib eating your food on your couch. Like
Hmm.
that song right there. It comes to mind, and I'm be like, dog. Like we the only people that sit up and actually boast like we. Boast like really to tell the truth, it's also that's also the lion mentality, like how how the lion of a pride it gets challenged from another lion, and
Hmm.
then if that lion loses, then that lion leaves the pride, and then the other lion takes over. So, but I just wanted to touch on that when we talk about destroying the family, then have you ever like I've never really heard that in no other I've never really heard that being that as big in any other genre of music than our music and our hip hop or whatever. You just sit up there and
Okay,
boast
I have to
about
agree to that.
taking this. I walk up in
I
here and
can
say, "Yo, chick," it says, "Yeah, with your chick," and even what was my boy song um everybody in the club getting tipsy, and then he was like, and he said
agree.
now he said I'm in the he said, looking at his chick. Now I'm over here with his chick. Now homie on the sideline looking at my clique. Like,
Hmm.
like we the only ones that sit up there and boast about breaking up relationships. So if you breaking up relationships, that ultimately will lead to breaking up a family. You don't know what this dude got going on or whatever, and you don't know how it is. You just want to be something on the side to be a distraction to cause
Hmm.
destruction of that whole doggone union or whatever it is. And then that other song, you are, what is it? You unforgettable. Say she left her man at home. She don't love him no more. Like
Mm. I
she
don't really
coming
know.
with
I don't
me.
think I know that
We
one.
the only ones, dog, that sit up there and talk about and boast about taking another man chick.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I got a song.
I
I'm writing a song, a counterpunch about that whole damn thing.
Now,
Y'all
it's,
just wait
it's
for that.
not just when men, women do it as well. But like you said, we're the only culture that do that. We really are. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard anything in the Tejano Latin music realm
Nope.
with that.
They don't
Mm-mm.
talk
I what did you
Mm-mm.
say?
because
Mm-mm.
they don't talk about it. I even asked a
Don't
couple
talk
of
Not
about
them.
that.
even with country.
Well,
Mm-mm.
my issue is mostly in the black family because of our music and the effect that it has on these families.
Hmm.
What most people don't realize is, okay, as a male, I should have my daddy's last name because I should have my daddy's blood, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Carrying on the
Okay,
legacy.
so why is it that mostly in the black family, the atomic structure of our family, you got 15 different atoms under one roof because you got
Mm.
5 different bloodlines. You got one from this
Hmm.
one, one from this one, one from this one, one from this one, and you wonder why we can't get along. Now,
Hmm.
when
Right.
you look at the family and they both got the same mom and they same daddy, they think alike. They move as a team. They move as a troop. They one something
Mm,
happens to one person,
mm.
all of them come together. Now, when you got
Oh, that's
different
not a
bloodlines
broken
under
home.
one roof,
Okay.
you got 5 different bloodlines under one roof, and can't nobody get along.
All right, can we get to this? Let's get to this comment real quick. Jarrell also says these women are doing it so they can actually feel unconditional love, especially since no man will stick with them. So he's going back to,
Unconditional love
what we
in
was.
itself is a self-deception. There is no such thing as unconditional love. So if I come up and hit you with
Unconditional
my
love.
unconditionally, so when you walking in the house and you got those bags and I trip you on the way in every day, that's gonna be unconditional love. You still gonna love me, or you be like, I need to get the hell up out of here.
Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Let me
Man,
rub your knee.
unconditional means you're gonna sit back and take any and everything this person
Yeah,
throw
there's
at
no
you.
such thing as
Mm,
unconditional love. What they're saying is they
So,
want unconditional love. They don't want to provide unconditional love. They want one-sided unconditional love.
yeah.
That's what
Okay.
so basically want is worship.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Yep.
We got an hour and 30 minutes. Today's topic was unconditional/intentional deceptions. We've talked about the deceptions of individual, and as far as we've scratched the surface with looks, wardrobe, makeup.
Y'all know I had to throw that in there, man.
We need a part 2.
Car.
Oh, see, if we get a part 2, then I'm gonna go into Decepticons.
There we go. There we go. Yeah,
we get part 2. I'm gonna go into Decepticons.
Let's leave the Autobots at home.
That was going, but you wait till you hear what my look. Re already knows what my deception, what my definition of a Decepticon is. She already knows what I'm talking about. So if we do a part 2, I'm definitely touching on that, and that's gonna make you scratch your head. But I think it's a topic that we need to talk about because they definitely out here in full force now.
Ooh, I'm down. Let's go.
She knows what I'm talking about, and I'll reveal it. I'm gonna let y'all think about that one, and I'm gonna reveal it when we talk about it.
He says, but mama is a title that is virtually without negative accountability. I do not agree with that.
No. Mother is
hoping for Decepticons.
Mother is, but mama ain't.
There we go.
She said, I was hoping for Decepticons.
Frederick, I did hear you. You said mother is, but mama ain't. Okay. And I get that. Rochelle is waiting for the Decepticons. She did mention earlier today she wanted to see if we were going to touch on the Transformers and the Decepticons.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it next week. And the thing about it is, it's not, and I'm telling you right now, it's gonna make you think. The way I come at it is gonna kind of make you think. So y'all be ready for that. If we choose to get into that, I'm going to delve off.
We choosing. Let's vote right now.
Yeah.
I want to hear about
So y'all show up. Yeah.
No, we'll save the Transformers and the Decepticons for another show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've been overruled.
Yes.
Yeah, so whenever we decide to talk about that, then I will talk about that.
All right. Okay. Any last words on intentional deception before we go?
Yeah, you deceived me. I thought we had.
Nah, man, look, if you intend on being the best person and the best version of yourself, please follow through with those intentions so that you won't intentionally lie to yourself and start believing that lie. So just go ahead and follow through all those things that your spirit tells you, and that way you'll be a whole lot better for it, and the rest of humanity may benefit from that shit too. So that's all I got to say.
Being the best version of yourself.
The best version of yourself.
Frederick, any last words?
Well, that's one of the biggest tenements of spiritual warfare, that thine own self be true. He who speaketh the truth in his own heart. So if you're not speaking the truth in your heart, you can't speak the truth to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, this is Coffee and Convo live with Ari and Chosen, special guest Frederick Sparkman. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely day.
Have a nice day.